All right, thanks, guys. We went 3-0 yesterday in the NFL on patreon.com/Brock Page. This past weekend's also going to put us at 16-6-2 for the college football season on that website. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/Brock Page. Now let's go ahead and get into NFL Week 7. Beginning with the Chiefs taking on the Broncos, 8:20 Eastern kickoff this Thursday night in the Mile High City. Kansas City's -3.5, total at 50. Not a whole lot of movement on the total. Saw a 1-point fade of Kansas City in the early wagering. The Chiefs open 4.5 down to 3.5. Total open and remains at 50. 77% of the consensus are leaning toward Kansas City. 68% leaning toward the under. Right now, Denver's plus 155 on the money line. Now, the Chiefs are 7-3 straight up in their last 10 head-to-head matchups with the Broncos. They've also successfully covered the number in 7 out of those 10 ball games. Of course, if you're into historical trends. Now, the Chiefs are 4-2 straight up overall for the year, 3-3 against the number. The Chiefs rank first in passing yards on average per game, fourth in scoring, first in yards per play on the road. Meanwhile, Denver on the other side, just 2-4 straight up on the season, 1-2 at Mile High Stadium. The Broncos are also 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 at home, taking on Kansas City. The Broncos have failed to cover in 5 out of their last 7 ball games, taking on a member of the AFC. Now, Denver's 27th in scoring on average per game, 22nd in rushing yards allowed, 25th in home offensive rushing. When it comes to the total, Denver's 4-2 to the over in their last 6, taking on the Chiefs. Kansas City 4-2 to the over overall for the year, 7-1 to the over in their last 8 when traveling. I'm going to purchase the 0.5 point, buy it down, and take Kansas City -3 and the over 50 in that game. Next matchup, Rams taking on the Falcons. And that's going to be a 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff in Atlanta. The Rams are -3, total 53. Saw a 1-point fade of Los Angeles and movement upward on the total. The Rams open 4 down to -3. Total open 52.5 up to 53. 79% are leaning Rams. 69% leaning toward the over. The Rams are 4-2 against the spread this year, 6th in scoring, 2nd in passing, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 away from home, dating back to last season. Now, Atlanta on the other side, just 1-5 straight up overall for the year. They've failed to cover in 5 out of those 6 games. They are 28th in rushing, 31st in points allowed, which is second to last in the NFL. The Falcons have also failed to cover in 6 out of their last 9 matchups, taking on a member of the NFC. If you're into historical trends, of course. Now, total-wise, Atlanta 24th in home scoring, 5-1 to the under in their last 6 in Atlanta. Meanwhile, the Rams on the other side, 4-1 to the under in their last 5 games played in the month of October. 3 out of their last 6 stayed under the total as well. I'm going to lean LA Rams -3. And the under 53 in that game. Next matchup, Vikings, Lions, 1 o'clock, Detroit. We currently have ourselves a pick'em contest, total at 44. Now the Vikings open the betting as the 1-point favorite in this one. They're kind of getting faded here. So once again, Minnesota open -1 down to a pick'em contest, total at 44. 71% are leaning Vikings, 88% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Lions are -110 on the money line. Now, if you like the Vikings in this matchup here, just keep in mind they've dropped 2 out of their last 3 on the road. They're also just 1-2 against the spread in that same category. The Vikings are 27th in road scoring, 20th in road passing. Meanwhile, the Lions on the other side, 2-1-1 overall for the year, 3-1 against the spread. They've also successfully covered the number in their 2 home games thus far in the year. They rank 7th in offensive passing, 5th in offensive time of possession. They're also 8th in home rushing, 10th in home defensive time of possession as well. When it comes to the number, Minnesota's 4-2 to the under overall, 3-0 to the under on the road. I'm going to lean Detroit, getting the job done in the Pick'em contest in the under 44 in that matchup there. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for NFL Week 7. But before we get into some more of that, just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that website. We have a bunch of different memberships, packages, and tiers that you can subscribe to, different criteria with each one. And packages begin at just $1.99 per month. Now, we do have an NFL package and a college football package. We went 3-0 yesterday in our NFL package, and that is that's a membership that only costs $11.99 a month. That is dirt cheap. Now, our college football package, we are currently 16-6-2 on the college football season. That is nearly 80%. Of course, that membership costs just $14.99 a month. Once again, there's plenty of free content there as well, including my current record. So if you want to check out my current record across all the different tiers, hit that link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. You're hurting yourself each and every day you're not subscribed. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive back into some more lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Jags taking on the Bengals, 1 o'clock Cincinnati. The Jaguars are -3, total 44. We didn't see a whole lot of movement on the spread in this one. Pretty good two-way action with regard to the sides. We did see a 3.5-point move downward on the total already. Now, Jacksonville open and remains -3, total open 47.5, all the way down to 44. 74% of the consensus are leaning toward Jacksonville, 61% shaded toward the under. The Jags have successfully covered the number in 3 out of their last 6. They're also 2-1 against the spread on the road, 8th in offensive rushing, 3rd in yards per play. Check this out. The Jacksonville Jags are 9-0 against the spread in their last 9 games, taking on a member of the AFC North. Jacksonville, 8th in road passing allowed, 5th in defensive road time of possession as well. And one more thing to add about Jacksonville, they are 4th in road rushing. Now, Cincinnati on the other side, winless on the year. 0-6 straight up overall for the season, 29th in scoring, 31st in rushing yards, which is second to last in the league. They're also 0-5 straight up in their last 5, taking on a member of the AFC. Now, total-wise, Cincinnati 2-0 to the over at home. Jacksonville 2-1 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Jaguars -3 in the over 44 in that matchup. Next game, Cardinals, Giants, 1 o'clock, New York. The G-Men are -3, total 49. So a 0.5-point fade of New York and movement upward on the total. The Giants open 3.5, down to -3. Total open 47.5, up to 49. 58% are leaning Giants, 82% shaded toward the over. The Giants are 2-4 straight up on the year, 2-4 against the spread, 24th in scoring, 29th in offensive time of possession. Now, the Giants have failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6 at home, hosting the Cardinals if you're into historical trends. New York's just 1-2 against the spread at home this year, 25th in yards per play at home, 24th in rushing yards allowed at home. Meanwhile, the Cardinals on the other side successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 7, dating back to the last year. They're also 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 on the road if you're into historical trends. They rank 5th in number of offensive plays run per game. They are 4th in passing yards on the road, 4-2 against the spread overall for the season, and 6-3 ATS in their last 9 head-to-head matchups with the Giants. Now, total-wise, the Giants are 3-0 to the under at home, 5-2 to the under in their last 7 Week 7 games. I'm going to lean Arizona +3, getting it done on the road, and the under 49 in that game. Next matchup, 49ers taking on the Redskins. That'll be a 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff in the nation's capital. The Niners are 9.5, total 42 and a hook. So a 0.5-point move towards San Francisco, moving downward on the total. The Niners open -9, up to 9.5. Total open 43, down to 42 and a hook. 78% are leaning Niners, 54% shaded toward the over. The Niners are undefeated on the year right now. 5-0 straight up overall for the season. 4-1 against the spread in those 5 games. They've also successfully covered the number in 4 out of their last 5 games played in Washington, if you're into historical figures there. Now, the Niners are second in scoring, first in rushing. Meanwhile, the Skins on the other side, just 1-5 straight up overall. They did get their first win yesterday, 1-point victory in Miami. They're 1-5 against the spread overall for the year, 0-8 straight up in their last 8 matchups, taking on a member of the NFC. The Redskins are 30th in scoring, which is third to last in the league, and they are also 30th in points allowed on average per game, which is third to last in the NFL as well. Now, total-wise, San Francisco, 4-1 to the under overall, 4-1 to the under in their last 5 played in October. The Skins 9-4 to the under in their last 13, taking on the NFC West. They're also 5-0 to the under in their last 5 games played in the month of October themselves. I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it down, and take the Niners -9 in the under 42.5 in that game. Next matchup, Oakland taking on the Packers, 1 o'clock Lambeau. The Packers are -7, total 46.5. Pretty good two-way action on the sides, no movement there. We did see a half a point move upward on the total. The Packers open and remain -7, total open 46 up to 46 and a hook. 62% are leaning Green Bay. The Packers are 4-1 straight up overall, 4-1 against the spread. They are coming off a bye week and a 34-24 victory taking on the Cowboys. Green Bay has some marquee covers this year over the likes of Dallas, Denver, Minnesota, and Chicago. Those were wins and covers combined. Green Bay's 9th in offensive time of possession, 8th in points allowed, 9th in home passing. One more thing to add about Green Bay. They are 7th in passing yards allowed at home. Now, Oakland on the other side, they're just 24th in passing yards on average per game. They're also 23rd in points allowed. Their defense has given up 21 points or more in 4 out of their 5 games this year. Now, total-wise, Oakland 3-2 to the over for the season, 2-0 to the over when traveling. The Packers are 3-2 to the over for the season, 2-1 to the over at Lambeau. I'm going to lean Packers -7 in the over, 46.5 in that game. Next matchup, Texans taking on the Colts. 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff, Indianapolis. The Colts are 1.5, total 48 and a hook. Saw a 1-point fade of Indy and movement upward on the total. The Colts open 2.5 down to 1.5, total open 47.5 up to 48.5. 64% are leaning Houston, 80% toward the over. Right now the Texans are +110 for an outright victory. Now Indianapolis is 27th in passing, 25th in yards per play. They failed to cover against Oakland and the Chargers this year. They're also 27th in yards allowed per play, 24th in offensive rushing at home, and 24th in points allowed at home. Now, Houston on the other side, they are coming off a 31-24 victory over the Chiefs yesterday. That's going to put them at 4-2 straight up overall for the year. They're also 4-2 against the spread in those 6 games. Houston, 12-2 straight up in their last 14, taking on the AFC. They're also 3-0 against the spread when traveling this year, 6th in road scoring, 5th in road passing. When it comes to the total, Houston's 2-1 to the over on the road. Indy 2-0 to the over at home. I'm going to lean Houston +2 after buying the hook and the over 48.5 in that game. Next matchup, Dolphins, Bills. 1 o'clock, Buffalo. The Bills are -16.5, total at 40. We saw a 1-point move toward Buffalo. We also saw a movement downward on the total. The Bills open 15.5 up to 16.5. Total open 41 down to 40. 51% are leaning Miami. 52% shaded toward the over. Miami's 0-5 straight up on the year. Losers of the toilet bowl yesterday. A 1-point loss to the Redskins. But once again, Miami 0-5 straight up on the year. 1-4 against the spread. Dead last in scoring. Dead last in rushing. Dead last in offensive time of possession. A couple more things to add about the Dolphins. They are dead last in points allowed on average per game, last in rushing yards allowed, and last in yards per play allowed. Now Buffalo on the other side, they are tough, man. What a defense. They're 4-1 straight up overall, 4-1 against the spread, 7th in rushing, 3rd in offensive time of possession at home, and they are 2nd in yards per play allowed. Now, total-wise, Buffalo 5-0 to the under overall for the year. No surprises there. They're also third in points allowed. Meanwhile, Miami, on the other side, 4-1 to the under in their last 5, strictly because they cannot score. I'm not even going to purchase the hook on this one. Give me Buffalo minus 16.5 and the under 40 total points in that matchup. Next game, Chargers, Titans, 405 Tennessee. The Titans are minus 2.5, total 40 and a hook. We saw a 1.5 point move toward Tennessee and movement downward on the total. The Titans open -1, up to minus 2.5. Total open 41, down to 40.5. Right now, 65% of the consensus are leaning toward the Chargers, 73% shaded toward the under. Tennessee, 2-4 straight up on the year, 2-4 against the number. They rank 28th in passing on average per game, 27th in yards per play. They've also failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6 games, taking on a member of the AFC. Now, Tennessee is 0-5 straight up in their last 5 games played in the month of October. They're also 1-5 straight up in their last 6 Week 7 contests. One more thing to add about Tennessee. They are 29th in home scoring. Now, the Chargers on the other side, they are 9-1 straight up in their last 10 head-to-head matchups with Tennessee. They've also successfully covered the number in 9 out of those 10 games. The Chargers are also 15-5 straight up in their last 20, taking on a member of the AFC South. Los Angeles is 6th in passing, 4th in offensive time of possession, 9th in points allowed, and 8th in pass yards allowed. Chargers are 2nd in road offensive rushing and 2nd in points allowed on the road. Now, total-wise, the Chargers 5-1 to the under on the year, 2-0 to the under away from home. Meanwhile, the Titans 5-1 to the under themselves, 2-0 to the under at Nissan Stadium. I'm going to purchase the half a point. I'm going to buy it up, and I'm going to take the Chargers +3 and the under 40.5 in that contest. Next game, Baltimore taking on Seattle, 425 Seahawks. Seattle's 3.5, total 50 and a hook. So a half a point fade of Seattle and movement upward on the total. The Seahawks open -4, down to 3.5. Total open 50, up to 50.5. 59% are leaning Seattle, 87% shaded toward the over. Seattle's 5-1 straight up on the year, 3-3 against the number. Winners in 7 out of their last 8 at CenturyLink Field. They're also 5-1 ATS in their last 6, taking on a member of the AFC North. The Seahawks have marquee covers over Cleveland, Arizona, and Pittsburgh. They're also 7th in home scoring, 6th in yards per play at home, 5th in home defensive rushing. Now, Baltimore on the other side failed to cover in 5 out of their last 6 games. They're also just 1-2 ATS on the road this year. They rank 22nd in points allowed, 28th in pass yards allowed as well. Now, total-wise, the Ravens are 4-2 to the over thus far in the year, 3-0 to the over on the road. Meanwhile, Seattle 4-2 to the over themselves, 2-1 to the over at CenturyLink Field. I'm going to purchase the hook, slide it down, and take Seattle -3 and the over 50.5 in that game. Next matchup, Saints, Bears, 425 Chicago. The Bears are -4, total 39.5. So a 1 point move towards Chicago, movement upward on the total. The Bears open 3, up to -4, total open 38.5, up to 39 and a hook. 70% are leaning toward New Orleans. Chicago's just 2-3 against the number overall for the year. They failed to cover against Oakland, Denver, and Green Bay. They've also failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head matchups with New Orleans, if you're into historical trends. The Bears are 28th in scoring, 30th in passing, 30th in yards per play. They also rank 30th in home rushing. Now, the Saints on the other side, 5-1 straight up overall for the year, 4-2 against the spread. They've also successfully covered the number in 4 out of their last 5, taking on a member of the NFC North. New Orleans is 11th in time of possession, 2-1 against the spread on the road. When it comes to the total, New Orleans is 2-1 to the under when traveling, 5-1 to the under in their last 6 away from home. The Bears on the other side, 80% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the road dog. Give me the Saints +4 and the under 39.5 in that game. Next matchup, Sunday night primetime. It is going to be Eagles, Cowboys, 820 Dallas. The Cowboys are -3, total 48.5. So a half a point move toward Dallas. moving upward on the total. The Cowboys open 2.5 up to 3. Total open 47.5 up to 48 and a hook. 59% of the consensus are leaning toward the Eagles. Now, Philly's just 2-4 against the spread overall for the year. They've also failed to cover in 8 out of their last dozen head-to-head matchups with Dallas. The Eagles have failed to cover against Minnesota, Detroit, Atlanta, and Washington this year. And, of course, Atlanta and Washington, kind of the bottom of the barrel there. Philadelphia, 27th in passing yards allowed, 26th in road offensive passing themselves. They're also 31st in pass yards allowed on the road, which is second to last in the NFL. Now, Dallas, on the other side, winners in 7 out of their last 8, played at Jerry's World. They're also 6-0 against the spread in their last 6, taking on a member of the NFC East. They're absolutely dominating the division with regard to the number. Now, Dallas is 4th in home scoring, 2nd in home rushing, 1st in yards per play at home. They're also 7th in points allowed at home. Now, total-wise, both teams are 4-2 to the over for the season. They're also 2-1 to the over at their respective locations. I'm going to lean Dallas -3 and the over 48 and a hook in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Monday Night Football. The Patriots taking on the Jets, 8:15 Monday night. The Patriots are -9.5, total 42 and a hook. Saw a half-a point fade of New England and moving downward on the total. The Pats open -10, down to 9.5. Total open 43.5, down to 42 and a hook. 56% are leaning Patriots, 88% shaded toward the over. New England is still undefeated on the year, 6-0 straight up overall for the season, 4-2 against the spread in those 6 games. They rank 3rd in scoring, 5th in passing. They're also 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 ball games dating back to last year. The Patriots have successfully covered the number in 4 out of their last 6 head-to-head matchups with the Jets. The Pats are also 8-0 straight up in their last 8, taking on the AFC. Jets on the other side, they did pick up their first win yesterday, but they're just 1-4 straight up overall for the year, 2-3 against the spread. They're 24th in points allowed, 23rd in passing yards allowed at home. They're also 22nd in yards per play allowed at home as well. Now, total-wise, the Jets are 3-2 to the under for the year, 2-1 to the under at home. Meanwhile, the Pats, 3-0 to the under when traveling. I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it down, take the Patriots -9 and the under 42.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. I got the Pats -9, under 42.5. Dallas -3, over 48 and a hook. I also have New Orleans +4, under 39.5. Seattle -3, over 50 and a hook. Chargers +3, under 40.5. Niners -9, under 42 and a hook. Green Bay -7, over 46.5. Detroit in the pick'em in the under 44. Buffalo -16.5, under 40 points. Rams -3, under 53. We also have Jacksonville -3, over 44. Texans +2, over 48.5. Cardinals +3, under 49. And last but certainly not least, we have the Chiefs -3 and the over 50 total points in that game. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 3-0 yesterday in our NFL premium picks. We're also 16-6-2 on the college football season. Excellent in both categories. We are really starting to heat up in football, both in professional football and in college football. We also do daily plays, and we have a bunch of different memberships and packages that you can subscribe to, beginning at just $1.99 per month. You can also check out my current record on that site as well. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. You're costing yourself you're costing yourself money each and every day you're not subscribed to that website. Once again, patreon.com/BrockPage. Everybody that's on that site is very happy with the results, and it's a great group of guys. We kind of banter back and forth in the comment section on that site. It's a great group. We're all kind of like a family, and we're all great friends. So all are welcome. Patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you, And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.